Hello and welcome back, my gorgeous, thriving souls. Today we are talking about one thing, and that is receiving. So many of us have been really programmed to shirk away from receiving a lot. And it's interesting because with so much talk about manifestation and so many manifestation teachers out there these days, there's a lot of focus on like calling things in. And so I think a lot of people do that. They do visualizations, or they write down, or they make a vision board and things like that. But when it comes down to actually getting the thing, sometimes there are a lot of blocks that we don't really know are there. There are a lot of ways that are blocking us from actually getting that thing that we're looking for. We're like, I want this thing. And we can't seem to get to it. And so that might be a way for you to think, oh, I wonder if I am having a hard time receiving things. So I'll give you one example that I know for sure was something for me. It was so simple, but it actually made me uncomfortable. And I was like, that is so weird. I was at my friend's house and they had a party. It was super chill. Like, some people were like sitting out on the porch. There weren't enough chairs. People were just kind of like sitting down on the steps or on the deck. And our kids were running around, and it was, that kind of a thing where it was like a little chaotic. This is when my kids were smaller. And so I'm just setting the scene for you. I'm sitting on the ground. I ate already. I was getting up and I wanted to throw my plate away. And the owner of the house, the person who was throwing the party, was like, I'll get it for you. Like, let me throw it away. And I was like, oh, no, it was immediate. It was instantaneous. I was like, why? And he just looked at me like, no, I can throw this away for you. And I was like, oh, okay, well, okay, sure. But it was hard for me. It was hard for me to let someone do something for me. And so I don't know that resonates with you, if you've had it be so ingrained in you that you should be doing the things, that you should be serving others, that you should be the one doing for others, that you actually have a hard time when people are doing things for you. You're like, no, like, I don't need, to do that, or like, I don't need you to do that for me. And something as simple as throwing a plate away, like, of course, I could have done that by myself. And it was just the gesture that he also wouldn't allow me to not accept his offer. Like, he was like, no, you crazy person, like, I'm doing this. And so when we are thinking about receiving, this is very big to me on an energetic level, for sure. Energetically, we are asking for things, and whatever it is in this life, I've had so many times in prayer that I was asking for more peace, asking for the things that I have today, the family I have today, the job I have today. I mean, so much that I've asked for. And I know that some of those requests were at a time when I wasn't really ready to receive it. And some of the things that I am in the process right now of looking forward to or looking for in my life next, that those vision board items, I also recognize that there is a up level that has to happen energetically for me. I have to be able to expand my capacity to hold more. And when you're in the place of needing to expand, you also need to not only like have the visualization and have the sense of what it might feel like to get what you want. So exciting to kind of sit in that energy and that visualization, but also to have the safety that it would be safe to have that thing. And this is where it opens the door, energetically speaking, into maybe giving you more of an insight if you have a block in this area that's keeping you from getting the things that you want. So if you do not feel safe to receive more money, a different job, it could be because you have a fear there. And for a lot of us, that fear is deeply rooted. And some of the ways that might show up include having a fear that people will look at you differently, having a fear that there will be judgment. Like, I judged people before when I didn't kind of have a great understanding about money and wealth, and I totally made snap judgments on people. And in judging them, I was judging myself, because if I wanted that thing, then I was, do you see how that circles around? Do you see how that's like a mirror reflecting back at you? So not only judgment, but also in certain ways, in certain circles of friendship, in certain circles of family, this can also look like rejection or ostracization, which even goes more deep into a sense of safety. Ancestrally speaking, every single one of us has originated at some point in our lineage way back as a tribe, as needing to be together in community to survive. There was that necessity. And so it is an instinct within almost all of us that if you do not have acceptance of the people around you, that you have a deeply rooted fear there, and that those things also can lead to you subconsciously putting up a block or not wanting to actually receive what you are asking for. Because even though it might change things in your life, if that change means that you could potentially have some relationships that might reject you or say, well, you're not the same anymore, or, oh, now you're like that, you know, these are the things that will end up keeping people from doing that. That will keep you in the same level instead of allowing you to receive something that might put you into a higher level or a different level. Other ways that might show up are if you had been told, or you had watched maybe your family or your parents point at someone else and say, well, they're just acting spoiled, or they're entitled because they want blah, blah, blah. You know, programs of that is like inciting and inducing guilt and shame for wanting something. Did you feel safe when you were young to ask for something if you were at the store? So this is something that comes up all the time. My kids were at the store, they ask for stuff all the time. And it's not like, it's interesting because when I think about how that would have been received by my family and by my parents, they would have been like, well, you're spoiled. What do you think this is? Like, you can't just be asking for stuff all the time. But that is not in my view of that now, watching my kids freely ask for a million things, I don't want them to be in the mind frame that they aren't allowed to have things, that they aren't allowed to even ask for it or think about it for themselves, because those are the buds in the beginning of this kind of thing that shows up larger and bigger later on. And so, do I say yes to things? Yes. Do I say no to a lot of things? Yes, I do. And so I feel like that's on me, you know? But I am only saying that to kind of highlight the point that this is all as a mechanism of me having in my own awareness of things that I felt like I couldn't do as a child and that I was shamed for if I did do. And I think that was very common in the 80s and 90s, totally. Elder millennials mount up, we understand. Let's see what else. So the other thing is there's a certain readiness for us sometimes. Sometimes the things that we are ready for, we do have to have a bit of expansion. And so part of that expansion is asking yourself some of these questions, right? Working through the idea, like, do I have a block in this area? If I really wanted, let's say, $5,000, and in my mind, I thought about how it would feel to have the $5,000, and then it felt good, and I feel like, I'd feel like less stressed. And then I thought, well, what if my friend had $5,000? Would I judge her for it? No. Or maybe you would. So if you would, then think about why. Why would I judge her for it? What about $5,000? Does it feel like it can come to me easily? Sometimes you have kind of this reciprocal, it's like the shoe's just going to drop kind of feeling. Well, if I get something, then maybe something bad's going to happen, or it'll just be taken away, or some other bill will come up, some expense, and it'll just be like taken right away from me immediately. And like, this mentality is another thing that you probably should journal on. Like, why do I think that? Where did that come from? What do I have other examples in my life that showed me that that was true, or showed me it wasn't true? And is that true? So having some of these thoughts, allowing yourself to circle around that, journal on that. If you feel like it's not safe to ask for something, to actually get something, these are ways that you can start to, these are things that, ideas that you can start to journal on and write it down. Obviously breathing through them. So if you get to a certain feeling that you're like, ooh, I feel shame. When I sit here and think, if I want to stand up in a room and say, I can't wait because I just asked for $5,000, and you would feel shame about that, or telling, like, maybe you're a parent, like, I got $5,000, or would you feel shame about it? Like, that feeling, when you can center in on that, maybe you can feel where it is in your body, you can breathe into that through breath work. Obviously, you can do breath work with me or with another breath work provider, but these are all things that we have the ability to work through. These are all things that we can work with. Picturing that thing in a more safe way too, besides working through the blocks. Sometimes something coming towards you might mean it might change your reality, or it might shift the way that your life is, and maybe that is scary. Maybe that's something to lean into as far as asking yourself why. But one thing that I think has really helped, and I'll tell you two things, but one thing is picturing that thing that I want as like a big hug coming towards me. Like, it's just the energy of like a big giant hug, and like, it is the feeling of love coming towards you. It loves me so much. Like, it wants me to have it as much as I want to have it. So like that $5,000 that I keep giving the example of, like, it's just a big old, like, giant ball of love. Like, it's there and it's ready to come towards me, and it's ready to just give me this big hug. And it feels really good knowing that it's meant for me, knowing that me asking for it is something that it wants to do. So picturing it in a different way actually just, it shifts the energy of it so that it can get more into an energy of positivity, and maybe counterbalance some of that shame that comes along with this sometimes, as the programs within us that are very deeply rooted for many of us are just coming to light. And another way, sometimes I'll kind of sit in that thought, practice the visualization of like getting that hug when I'm receiving it, getting that feeling of like really feeling loved by it. And then see if there's any songs that come to mind. So one of the songs that came to me with this particular practice and talking about money was a really old Elvis song. It was I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. So like, wise men, like that old song. But it's all talking about how I can't help falling in love with you. Like, I love you so much, I can't help falling in love with you. And that was not my song for the thing I wanted. It was the thing I wanted song for me. It was that feeling of like getting a love song sang to you and really having somebody mean it in that way. And that made the safety of receiving that thing feel better. It just felt better. It felt more safe. It felt good. And it shifted the way that I was able to kind of open myself more to the possibility of receiving it. And sometimes when we ask for things in our lives and we are planning and hoping for what's to come, we are also a little bit nervous because that means change. Change means you don't always know. It's not predictable. It's uncertain. Uncertainty is hard. So kind of allowing yourself to accept that it might mean that change will happen, but knowing that if it's really meant for you, if it's something that's already within you, if it's something that's just in your heart that you really, really want. And I know I keep giving a money example, but a lot of the things for me have to do with the work that I'm doing here and expanding it and reaching more people. This is something that can be scary, but also that I know it wouldn't be a desire in my heart if it wasn't meant to impact other people, meant to impact my life. So I'm also just gonna have to give part of that up to destiny and to the universe to let things happen how they're supposed to happen and stop standing in my own way. So whatever it is that you were looking for, allowing yourself to shift yourself into receiving it through a loving feeling, through a feeling of safety. If you know that you need some help finding regulation, I will link our quiz below, which is all about what is your perfect regulation profile. If you want to breathe through this because you have a feeling that you already feel, whether it's shame or doubt or guilt or whatever it is, then we can breathe through that. Feel free to book with me or to do one of the free breath works that I have. Okay, guys, that's all I have for today. Good luck in your receiving. Good luck in calling in what you're looking for, because this fire horse year, I know I said it in the fire horse episode, but I'm not kidding, you guys. It's just LFG energy. It's let's go. It is. It really is. It's awesome. And if you are looking to change something and looking to call something in and expand yourself and feel more conscious and more connected and more of a ripple out towards everyone around you and receiving that back to you and all the things, then this is a time. So that's what I got. I hope that you find beauty in something small, just like always, and I will catch you on the next episode.